The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. The timing of your struggle depends on how resistant you are to your molding. You don't have to make something that people call art. Living is an artistic activity. There is an art to getting through the day. Be grateful for what you already have while you pursue your goals. No matter what he does, every person on Earth plays a central role in the history of the world, and normally he doesn't know it. When you walk in silence, your excellence will always speak for you. Find the things that matter, and hold on to them, and fight for them, and refuse to let them go. Honest is how I want to look. The truth doesn't glitter and shine. A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed at some indefinite time in the future. People are going to say what they want to say and think what they want to think, and I can't change their minds. Other people's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. A bitter reality of truth can be wisely told in a sweet tale of lullaby. Happiness is something we reap from the seeds we sow. Plant misery seeds, and that is what you reap. So early in my life, I had learned that if you want something, you had better make some noise. It is clear that the individual who persecutes a man, his brother, because he is not of the same opinion, is a monster. Never break or fold. That's what it takes to be major. Making a difference to the welfare of animals doesn't require a massive effort. It requires small actions that can make a significant impact. Dedicate yourself to what gives your life true meaning and purpose. Make a positive difference in someone's life. Inspiration is like perspiration. It tends to strike at the most inopportune of times. Do not look for healing at the feet of those who broke you. Sometimes you have to be a bitch to get things done. All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The bottom line is, insults only hurt when they come from someone I respect. If there is any truth in the world, it lies when I'm with you. There's no such thing as ruining your life. Life's a pretty resilient thing, it turns out. Never trust the translation or interpretation of something without first trusting its interpreter. It is amazing how complete is the delusion that beauty is goodness. It is not enough to show how clever we are by showing how obscure everything is. Our power lies in our small daily choices, one after another, to create eternal ripples of a life well lived. Once in a while, it really hits people that they don't have to experience the world in the way they have been told to. Nothing is ever complete. You just have to get it close enough that it makes you happy. When you compare the sorrows of real life to the pleasures of the imaginary one, you will never want to live again, only to dream forever. The trouble with fiction, said John Rivers, is that it makes too much sense. Reality never makes sense. You couldn't erase everything that caused you pain with recollection. Every memory was valuable, even the bad ones. The essence of life does not consist in the lushness of your possessions, but in the richness of your heart. Because even though the truth can set you free, that doesn't mean it won't be painful. You cannot score a goal when you are sitting on the bench. To do so, you have to dress up and enter the game. With faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to the duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. A flower does not use words to announce its arrival to the world. It just blooms. Sometimes bad things have to happen before good things can. Until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. After all, if you do not resist the apparently inevitable, you will never know how inevitable the inevitable was. You never change your life until you step out of your comfort zone. Change begins at the end of your comfort zone. People who know little are usually great talkers, while men who know much say little. An item is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. Just like the sun dispels the shadows of the night each morning, embracing your heart's true desire is the only way to dispel fear and doubt. People don't always want to be with people. It gets tiring. Fear is oftentimes born of ignorance and misconception. It lays waste to the landscape of the soul. The ways of fate are indeed hard to understand. If there is not some compensation hereafter, then the world is a cruel jest. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. Sometimes you can see things happen right in front of your eyes and still jump to the wrong conclusions. There's only so much emotional superglue in a person's soul that everything just stays broken. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. The universe doesn't give you what you want in your mind. It gives you what you demand with your actions. Even in the loneliest moments, I have been there for myself. Nobody ever lives their life all the way up except bullfighters. Plant your tiny seeds and keep watering them every day. Soon, they'll grow. If you really want something, you can figure out how to make it happen. The biggest mistake we could ever make in our lives is to think we work for anybody but ourselves. Being interesting isn't important, but being happy is, as well as being a person you're proud of. I will continue my path, but I will keep a memory always. All the work you are doing in silence is opening doors. Trust your pace. So long as you fight the darkness, you stand in the light. Never say anything about yourself you don't want to come true. My feet are shaking, but I'll do whatever it takes to take a step forward. Don't appreciate me. I'm not up to it. Don't criticize me. I don't deserve it. Just be my friend and forgive me, because I am craving for it. It is much harder to lie to someone's face, but it is also much harder to tell the truth to someone's face. The choices we make dictate the lives we lead. What is to be, will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest the decree. Life is short. If you doubt me, ask a butterfly. Their average lifespan is a mere 5 to 14 days. Let the speaker speak truly and the judge decide justly. The thing about a spiral is, if you follow it inward, it never actually ends. It just keeps tightening infinitely. Doing what I like to do, the way I like to do it, makes me happy. Some people may not fully know this, but praying is also an amazing form of manifestation. In my opinion, it is the most powerful one. Do not let your difficulties fill you with anxiety. After all, it is only in the darkest nights that stars shine more brightly. Fear is the polio of the soul which prevents our walking by faith. One must work and dare if one really wants to live. There is no common sense and no common logic, only common fantasies. A truth is what it is. A lie, a thought-out deception more brutal than a truth could ever be. Success is something you experience when you act accordingly. Success is not something you have, it's something you do. When all seems to be against you, remember, a ship sometimes has to sail against the current, not with it. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Words are your paintbrush, and your life is the canvas. You can paint whatever you want to paint. Know that bad character and attitude can block people from seeing the skill, talent, or potential you have. Dreaming of a life not lived, but holding on to the fantasy, because the scars of reality still sting the heart. If you give up what you want most for what you think you should want more, you'll end up miserable. The most wasted of all days is one without laughter. One of the most healing things you can do is recognize where in your life you are your own poison. To be human is to be broken, and broken is its own kind of beautiful. If a man could have half of his wishes, he would double his troubles. I want to keep my dreams, even bad ones, because without them, I might have nothing all night long. The certainty about the uncertain is that it will remain uncertain till the time it's certain. There's no clarity. There was never meant to be clarity. It takes no more time to see the good side of life than to see the bad. Turn your obstacles into opportunities and your problems into possibilities. There are no conditions to which a person cannot grow accustomed, especially if he sees that everyone around him lives in the same way. I was never aware of any other option but to question everything. Every story I create creates me. I write to create myself. A daily dose of daydreaming heals the heart, soothes the soul, and strengthens the imagination.